Sean Ruist. Sean, on here it says right, you're going to speak to referendum, but you need to speak to what's on the agenda tonight, which is this, okay?
Oh, it's on.
Thank you.
It's part of it.
I know you'll tie it all in somehow, so you know.
I don't have to. It's a state statute, and it's already been tied in. I read the resolution that is part of the act that relates Renaissance to it, actually, because we're talking about housing and blight in the downtown. So it's not, even though the ballot idea is two separate issues, the issues are intertwined and cannot be separated. The state of Connecticut ensured that that be the case, and that's why we're here tonight. All right, I have a resolution of my own. It says, being as that an unreasonable amount of residents in the city of Bristol are subject to hardship as median income declines as the cost of living is escalating. Being that a great number of homeowners are having difficulty making their mortgage payments and are at risk of foreclosure. Being that the number of homes that are unoccupied has continued to increase as outlined in the City of Bristol's demographics report provided by ESRI, that's on the city's website. Being that the state of Connecticut has considerably increased its taxation on its citizens, furthering increasing the decline in home ownership in the state of Connecticut. Being that further decline in home ownership due to increased taxation in the city of Bristol may lead to a decline in tax revenues, leaving the city to increase its reliance on state subsidies. Being that the state of Connecticut's economy is in distress due to excessive debt and already has relinquished funding to its municipalities. That's regarding unfunded mandates. Being that the proposed ballot question does not reflect the city's plan as described in the resolution, and this is the biggest issue that I have with this. Being that the plan affects taxpayers disproportionately by region, which conflicts the state of Connecticut's Constitution in Section 1. Being that some city leaders have claimed that our charter does not allow for a referendum regarding debt for housing. Being that the intended use for the Connecticut Redevelopment Act will not lead to job creation as these funds would be better suited. And being that this is a blank check for the city of Bristol to incur $200 million worth of debt. That's 5% of the city's assets. My math might be wrong, but I know it's pretty darn close. Maybe none of you have that intention, but you all may be leaving office before long and you don't know who's going to be voted in. I've seen cities take on tens and millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars for a comprehensive plan which hinges on transportation in Bristol if we use a regional plan. I don't take issue with the West End plan that designates that we have a lot of blighted housing as indicated in the resolution that is part of this act. But I do take issue with the fact that I feel that taxpayers are being excluded from the details of this. To say that we don't have a say in it is contradictory to the reason why we're here tonight. If you read in the Redevelopment Act, all right, it says there's a mandatory referendum section. It says that, and it has to do with debt and housing and blight verbatim in it, which is the reason why we're using Renaissance's plan for mixed-use housing here in the city. I find it really important that the resolution that is going to be read matches the ballot question. The ballot question is saying that we're using this for economic development so that we can decrease joblessness and promote economic growth, all right? But the resolution says that we're going to use the Redevelopment Act because we have a lot of blight. They're not the same thing. It's almost like there's a question that's been drafted for the ballot that everyone's going to say yes to. Who's going to vote no to borrowing an amorphous amount of money, who knows how much it's going to be, to create jobs. Probably not anybody. Only the well-informed people that actually realize how these two things are associated. You need to put on the ballot that what the money is going to be used for. It's going to be to replenish our low-income housing stock or affordable housing stock or something like that. If you don't, I'm going to fight you tooth and nail between now and November. And you have to maintain the respect of your citizens, and you're not going to do that if your question says one thing and your resolution says something different. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.